Welcome to Unknown Content, friends, and today I want to share with you all a relaxing game that will draw you in with its unique gameplay, fantastic music, and overall relaxing tone. This game is called Elemental, and it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. This is the kind of game that I've always come back to simply because every part of the game seems to just meld together into this wonderful masterpiece of a game. It's a relaxing game that, despite being incredibly difficult, will ease your worries. It's a game I love, and one I want to share with you all. The gameplay focuses on an elemental sprite that has the ability to shift between 4 elements. Each element has different effects and causes the sprite to interact with the world in various ways. Air allows the sprite to become a bubble, giving upward motion and allowing it to float seamlessly. Fire gives the sprite forward motion, shooting to the right of the sprite's location with a burst of flames. Earth gives the sprite this downward momentum, hardening itself into a boulder to crash into the ground and roll down hills into quite a rocky fashion. And finally, ice gives the sprite the ability to slide along the ground. It's the most stable of the elements, and it tends to be the best when wanting to get all those nice sliding motions in store for the physics-based gameplay that we have in store for us. In order to move around, you have to shift between these 4 elements, and slide, float, burst, and crash your way through the various levels. This game can get difficult, depending on how capable you are of using the sprite's abilities to progress, because you can only use these abilities to move through the world. This means that your ability to progress depends a lot on how your choice of switching between the elements affects the sprite and the world around you. In essence, as I said before, this game is a very physics puzzle style game, and as you progress through the game, you get to encounter new obstacles to interact with. You get anything from like a fiery patches on the wall to waterfalls that'll kind of snuff you out if you're a flame, or punch you into the ground if you're a bubble. You have to flow and learn about these new environments, just as the sprite is. And all along your journey, our little sprite is narrating everything. Little thought bubbles will pop up through the levels, showing off just how excited the sprite is to learn about the world around it. It's happy to explore, happy to wonder, and excited to see more. There's only one obstacle in your way, but as long as you're patient with the sprite, you'll both make it to the end of your journey. So, that obstacle is kind of the world itself. You have to break through walls, you kind of have to bounce off of fire, you can glide across water with little jets that kind of appear on the ground, and all in all, the goal of the game is to reach the end of the stage. To emulate that the world is the only real obstacle that occurs, the game is sort of kind of Super Meat Boy style when it comes to respawning. You're gonna pop or burst or kind of melt, and you can't get back to where you were, so you'll respawn a couple of bits away. And it makes it really nice because the respawn time is very, very quick. And that quickness helps kind of discourage the frustration of how difficult this game is, because it has a very high skill cap. It allows the player to not have to wait or think too much about the fact that, hey, I just died. And it's really, really nice when you have to avoid frustrations in the game. This game has a very special kind of beauty when it comes to presenting itself. It looks stunning and simple, and that's a very nice contrast. You've got this foreground of a simple black platform that you're kind of sliding and gliding and floating across. And then you've also got this contrast of this beautiful looking backdrop of everything in the background. The background looks fantastic, and you get to experience and watch the world as you go through it. And as you progress, the changes in the world gives that sense of progression, that sense of, oh, I'm exploring, I'm looking through the world, and the music is really what sells it for me. The music is one of the most beautiful music in video games that I've ever heard. Give it a listen here. This music is composed so masterfully that it makes you feel like you're in the world. As the beat increases, the tempo grows, and you find yourself excited as you travel deeper in the world. The music spurring you on just as much as our sprite is. The music gives us this feeling of understanding that the sprite is going through, and it calms us. It keeps us engaged, it draws us deeper into the immersion of the world. And music is such a powerful thing that it makes us feel not just how we're playing this game, but it makes us feel like we're with the sprite as it travels through these worlds. And it's amazing, it's fantastic, and it's one of the reasons I love this game so much. Elemental is such a masterfully built game, and it's one that I've held dear to my heart for a very long time. I've seen this game help friends work through a very rough time. The calming sensation it gives everyone is a very fresh perspective on gaming. And this game is not too old, but it's about 3-4 years old. And it's still one of those games that I feel holds up really well nowadays. It's so polished, the controls are so good, and the music is beautiful. I love it, and it is one of my favorite games. The only issue I have is that it's also one of the hardest games I've ever played. You play through, and you get to points where you're gonna struggle a lot. And the only reason you can get through that struggle is because how everything else kind of flows and meshes together. It makes it so that it's just so relaxing to continue. And the longer you work with it, the more relaxed you feel, the more you want to help the sprite go forward. And it's so nice to not feel like you have to, but feel like you want to. And that's what this game does. It makes you feel like you want to continue. You want to see this to the end. You want to feel where the sprite is going. And you will. You'll learn that sometimes the journey is the most important part. And that the ending is not always what it needs to be. But sometimes that's what the games are. Sometimes gaming in general is a journey. Sometimes the ending will not satisfy us as much as that journey did, but it doesn't matter sometimes. With a game like Elemental, the journey, the entire experience from start to finish, is so masterfully and beautifully done that the downside of it being incredibly difficult and hitting points where that skill cap is so high that only the best gamers can actually get past it, makes it worth playing, and it makes it worth looking at, and it's why I love it so much. My name's Kino, and remember that beauty is all around us, especially as fall starts to begin and the journey continues forward. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day.